Hey, what's poppin', nation? It's your brother Hamid G, out here on the streets, reporting live from the danger zone, homito. Checking in with my gente nationwide, from the West Coast to the East Coast to the North to the dirty South, bro. Everything in between. You know, with hectic times like this, it really makes you appreciate what you do have. Because so many times in this rat race of life, we steady just trying to accumulate our wealth, trying to get ourselves, you know what I'm saying, more things, more material stuff, more property, more land, you know, increasing our territory. You know, I'm much like that myself, you know, and with this whole thing going on right now, it's like everything's getting shut down. There's more to it than meets the eye. But we just have to keep an eye on this thing and let it blow over and get life back the way it was, and increasing, you know what I'm saying, get people's mind at ease from this whole stuff. Reflecting with the family, taking time out with at the crib, you know, watching a whole lot of TV. That's what basically you got to do. Quarantining the time, you know, I'm gonna kick it back to y'all. Once upon a time, when I was 19 years old, on my way to federal prison for the first time. I was a real knucklehead. I was hard-headed, man. Couldn't nobody tell me nothing, bro. I ran around the streets. I did as I pleased. I sold drugs, you know, I lived that lifestyle. So that's how I was rocking out there in the free world. So what sets Texas apart, you know, from my experience growing up in the South Side, is, you know, you got a whole bunch of raza down there, you know, it's that swag, bro. Y tenemos toda la merca entrando, you know, so got all the work coming in. So, you know, we're gonna get the best prices, and we're gonna be living good off the streets, eating, as they call it. You know, we was eating plenty, bro. We was La Conecta, the plug, you know. That's what the hometown is, La Conecta. You can call Laredo, Texas, La Conecta, homie. And man, I had a blast. I had a great time running these streets. You know, everything I did, I enjoyed. I had a blast. Even though I wound up in the penitentiary time and time again, and I took all these losses, and I've lost friends, relatives to the streets, and I damn near lost my sanity. I've, you know, several different occasions, almost lost my life. It's something I really don't regret, you know. It made me who I am today, and it's just another story I can tell, you know. You see, the streets is full of stories, man. Everywhere you turn, you can find a different story, you know, of a homito who grew up in the bullshit, who was really about that life, you know. And they can tell you some gangster shit all day, you know. That's the thing, you know, when you run in these streets and you're really living like that, you'll have a whole book of your life story of all different kinds of adventures. So I was 19 years old, homie. I got busted for moving chivos. You know, I got arrested for smuggling illegal aliens. In those days, in that time period of my life, era coyote. So I would get paid to transport undocumented illegal aliens into the U.S. and get paid for it. You know, that's what I went to prison for. So I'm in the court systems down in Texas. I actually got sentenced by Corpus Christi. And, you know, it was a process. I had to sit in the CCAs, the GEOs. There was no bond, none of that. I just had to wait it out. Come sentencing day, I pleaded guilty. I took my time. And that's when the transportation started. You know, the next place I would land in was the place called Corn City, right out of San Antonio. Corn City was a federal detention center, you know, for people getting transported to the joint federal prisons. So when I was there, they put me in a 12-man holding tank. And as soon as I walk in, you know, to the whole place itself, you know, I was already in a bad state of mind, you know. So I get to my tank. They said, man, who you rocking with? I said, I'm Lang King. They're like, all right. Well, I'm such and such, you know what I mean? So I was in there with a couple other affiliations, and then everybody else was Neutron. So I'm 19 years old in there. I'm the youngest motherfucker in there, bro. We in there living life, you know what I'm saying? In a 10-man, what a small tank looks like. We got our TV, commissary, you know. People in there getting along, they vibing, we playing spades, we doing our thing, you know. But me, I started getting this, you know, attitude of I didn't want to fuck with these cats, man. There was one other dude that claimed to have relatives in the Latin Kings from New York, you know, and so I was in there with him, and man, we was straight. I'd kick it with him. You know, the other cats, I really wasn't fucking with them like that. And one day they made some hooch, like some homemade shit, and we started pitching in. We made the whole batch. So I got 2 cups and I was turning up, man. I was drinking, getting faded with the radio and the headphones and all that. So everybody had caught to rec. They went to La Yarda. I usually always went to the yard except that day because I was drinking. Doing my thing, drinking, you know. The guys go to rec, then the CO, they come back from rec with the CO and he does head count. So he's counting all the people, making sure, you know, whatever. And he says, hey, you're out of your bunk. So I had a bottom bunk I had just got because the dude left and I jumped down. So I got this bunk. So he comes back and he tells me I got to swap out with this other cat. And I'm like, man, fuck that shit. I ain't finna, you know what I'm saying, swap beds because the other dude was on top. I was on the bottom. So as soon as the CO left, this dude who was a lot bigger than me and a few years older than me, he must have been like 24, 5. I was 19. I was weighing about 150 pounds tops. This dude was a little over 200 easy. You know, I'm 5'9", he's about 6'2". So I'm definitely outmatched. And he comes up to me, he's like, yeah, we're gonna swap beds, man. He starts getting his stuff. You're gonna have to take your shit up to mine. We swap it. I was like, man, we ain't swapping shit, homie. I ain't moving from my bed, I'm good. He's like, nah, we swapping, man, or else we throwing down. So I was like, all right, bam. So I took off on him, you know what I mean? And I hit him with a couple, boom, boom. I still off on this cat. He immediately ducked down, grabbed me by my legs, and dunked me on my head, bro. Bam! Immediately, I felt a big ass lump come out of my head. So I felt this lump on my head, and I hit the floor pretty hard. All I remember was seeing black, just blam. I was like, damn, days. So I get up immediately and I rush this motherfucker again. He ducks it immediately, so I didn't even get to get him that time. He picks me up again and spears me, and I land right on the edge of the bed frame on the bottom bunk. My spine hit the back, and I fell down. I was like, fuck. So the dude steals off on me again, and my homie from New York, he pulls him to the side and he's like, hey man, that's enough, man. You done fucked him up. He's like, all right, that's enough, all right. So I get up and I'm like, fuck, man, I can barely even walk and shit. I'm like, damn. Immediately after that, they bring the platones. It's like our turn to eat and shit. I'm still trying to get myself together, right? So they hand in the plates and all that. Everything's spinning around for me. And the CO's right there handing the plates. I sit down with the other homie. He's like, man, eat, you'll feel better. All right, so I start eating, and he's passing out the juices. I turn around and I puke about 5 gallons of vomit, homie, just. So I throw up all this puke, and the CO sees that shit, and I'm puking like a motherfucker, and then I fall out. I fell to the floor, and I passed the fuck out. Next thing I know, I'm getting carried in a fucking stretcher or something, you know what I mean? The CO is taking me away. I go to the medical unit, and in the medical unit, they ended up taking me to the hospital. They're like, nah, we can't do nothing from here, but I was already unconscious by the time. So the next thing I know, literally, I wake up about 2 days later in the hospital. Like, I'm fucked up. I can't even fucking move, bro. And my head, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. I just had to go pee, so I get up and I'm like, fucking, I got a handcuffed to the bed and shit. So, man, I kind of scream a little bit, like, hey, yell at him. And the CO walks in, he's like, oh, man, you awake? Let me let him know. Next thing I know, he's letting me go use the restroom. I come back. They're like, we was just about to open your head to relieve some of the internal bleeding in your brain. I was like, what? Yeah, you were unconscious for 2 days. I was like, damn, what the fuck? These people were about to scalp me to relieve some of the bleeding inside the brain. I guess they had took some kind of CAT scans on my head or something. But I had a big ass knot on my head, a lump from hitting head first on the concrete. Obviously, this man fucked me up. I'm in the hospital about 2 weeks trying to get myself right. You know what I mean? Damn near. So I can't even fucking move, bro. So when I left that hospital, I had nerve damage to my back, and they had to take me in a wheelchair. So I was fucked up. They're taking me back in a wheelchair to the Karnes City thing. So I get to Karnes City and they put me in a medical holding tank, and I had to stay there. I was like trying to recuperate slowly. I started, stretching, doing my little workouts, trying to get myself back. And I actually ripped a piece off the metal bunk and turned it into a shank. So I sharpened that up and I was able to make a shank out of it. I had a handle on it, everything. So I'm loaded. I'm like, as soon as I get released from the medical unit, it's on. I run into this cab, I'm gonna have to handle my business, But I remember, like, before the Platon got there, after I had already gotten separated from the homie from New York, he tells me, man, you stupid as fuck, man. He said, you don't run up on a cat that big, bro. You let him go, you catch him slipping, and you throw some hot water with peanut butter on that bitch, and then you shank his ass. He's like, you don't play the game like that, bro. Like, this motherfucker way bigger than you, man. You stupid, dog. But, he was just kind of letting me know what he thought about the situation. But at the same time, I didn't see him trying to back me up, But nonetheless, he did get him off me and shit. He did hold me, like, he did whatever. I guess it was a one-on-one, whatever. He won. I lost. So that's one of my stories of when I took a loss, homie, from another man on a physical altercation. I took a loss, dog. Fast forward to tape, I'm in the medical unit. I'm waiting to get released. Next thing I know, they said, get all your shit together, you're getting transferred. So I was like, damn. So I fucking broke the knife up and I just left the stash behind one of the bunks, like in the cracks, shoved it back in there, and that was it. I bounced. So when I leave, I end up going to FDC Houston. FDC Houston is a federal detention center that houses inmates for a couple of months while they're waiting to get flown to the ranches, to the yards, to the compounds they're gonna hit and do their time at. All right. So I'm in FDC Houston, and they're taking me up to, I think, like the 3rd floor, 4th floor, or something like that. But while I'm there, they say, man, Los Cuernos just went at it with the paisas, There was like a riot upstairs. Like, everybody was talking about that. Apparently they had went at it, like 5 Cuernos against like 20 paisas, and they stabbed the fuck out of a lot of them. They threw one off the tier, like it got real physical. I think one dude had got killed and a bunch of other injuries and shit. Like, it was some major shit that just popped off there at the FDC Houston. So I'm right there, I get transferred to my tank, and as soon as I get to my tank, they asked me, hey, who you running with? I said, man, I'm letting King, homie. They're like, you got some carnales here, let me go get them, boom. This vato era Bayuco, he goes and gets them, boom. He's like, hey, you got some carnales here, boom. And there was a brother from the Bayuco down there, holding it down, and another one from Chicago. So I report, yeah, what's up, boom, I'm with Ray. The brother right there that was holding it down, he actually knew how to treat a brother that was coming in, and he's basically the one that kind of put me up on game on how to treat a brother when one lands and you're already there established. He gives me a bag of commissary, some coffee, some shoes, a radio. He hooks it up, man, with like $200 worth of commissary. You know what I mean? The brother showing me love. He's got respect on the tank. I'm Gucci. I had no issues the whole time I was there. I kept my cell, it was my cell. I had a bottom bed and everything. I waxed the motherfucker. I kept it waxed and clean and shiny. My room stayed shiny and clean. So I'm in there, and the brother knew this huesero, which was like a bone therapist guy. And he paid him some soups, and the guy fixed my back and my nerves back into place. Because ever since I had gotten into that altercation, I couldn't walk right. I had like the nerve was freaking just tore or out of place or something. But Immediately after he was done, he cracked all my bones in my neck. I was 100, I was good. I was like, damn, I'm back to normal. I was Gucci. So the whole incident lasted a whole freaking month before I was able to get right, you know. And sometimes in life, homie, you're gonna take losses, you know, like I did at Corn City. Fast forward the tape, I ran into this dude in the city I'm at, you know, at one of the clubs. He was introduced to me and he didn't even recognize me, you know. And I shook his hand and everything. I looked him in his eye, you know, he was introducing himself, asking me where I'm from and all that. I let him know. He's like, oh, I'm from Texas too. I'm from Fort Worth. And woo. I'm like, all right. I'm just looking him in his eyes. I'm like, man, I'm going to catch this motherfucker slipping after the club and I'm going to gun his ass down. It's what ran through my mind. But inside of me, I knew immediately that was some coward shit to do. So I was just looking at him and I was like, fuck it, man. I ain't even finna do that, you know. But yeah, I kept it moving. I didn't do nothing to him. I didn't even check him and tell him, hey, you remember me? Ooh, none of that shit, bro. He obviously didn't remember me. He was being all cool and friendly and shit with me. I was like, all right, whatever. But I recognized him off the jump, you know what I mean? I don't forget faces, homie. I could have got him slipping. I could have caught his ass. Like the homie had told me prior, hey, don't ever run up on a dude that bigger than you like that head to head. Catch him slipping. But I've just never been that type to try and catch somebody slipping unless I was really gonna murder you. Like there was no other objective. I didn't want to fight you. With him, it was just over a fucking bunk at the Corn City. I was willing to let that shit go, homie. You know what I'm saying? It like I swallowed my pride and I let that shit go, bro. In life, sometimes you're gonna have to swallow your pride and let shit go, bro. You're gonna take losses and you just gotta live to fight another day and forgive motherfuckers and just let it be, man. Me, I don't mind forgiving cats and moving on and shit, but if my life's in danger and you gotta go, you're gonna go, homie. If you fucking with my kids, my familia, my direct family, my direct circle, then it's your ass, homie. I gotta handle my business, you know, it is what it is. But I'm the first to try to mediate and bring peace to a situation. I don't like violence. That's not even a resort for me. I'm not trying to take it that route, you know? That's not what it's about, homie, here, Freedom Lifestyle. Hey, we just on the road to redemption trying to get it right, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, homie, there's only one life to live. And, you know what I'm saying? And through life, people are going to have different opinions about you. Depending who they ask, they're going to say different things. You know, at the end of the day, I'm just a man, homie, walking around amongst the earth with other people, with y'all watching this video, you know what I mean? We're all in this together, you know? But at the end of the day, we all responsible for ourselves. You know, my happiness, my joy means a lot to me. And I started putting boundaries on bullshit, you know, walking more with integrity and respect, homie, and forgiveness in the light of the Lord. But through this coronavirus, man, I just wanted to tap in with y'all, to give you a little story, a rundown about a loss I took. You know, there's plenty of wins. You know, I'll touch up on wins that I've had, but at the end of the day, homie, nobody really wins.
Run up all night, shit, even sun up, get it right, stay on my grind till it's pulverized. Cause I'm a straight up menace, you better not get me offended. I'll hustle money, take a trip on the Venice, it beginning. Some say overzealous, if you thinking that they might be right, shit sounds jealous. Just because my committee met with good fellas, you know we'll keep it tight, we're permanent and setting our ways.